Yo, what is going on, guys? Jaeky here. Today we're going to be going over some tips and tricks with the Sheriff and basically how to just land more consistent headshots, as well as just some general tips and tricks when it comes to using the Sheriff effectively. So the most important thing when it comes to using the Sheriff is going to be crosshair placement. And if you want to learn more about crosshair placement, or you don't know what crosshair placement is, you can check out a video that I made dedicated solely to crosshair placement. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But obviously crosshair placement is important with every gun, but I would argue that for the Sheriff, it's extremely important. It's like 90% of aiming when it comes to the Sheriff is going to be your crosshair placement. So I've assumed you watched my video on crosshair placement, but basically TLDR, you want to keep your crosshair at head level at all times. This is especially important with a Sheriff because we're going for that crispy one tap. Another thing to keep in mind is once you have your crosshair at head level, let's say I'm holding this angle at B main. Rather than holding like this is actually bad because you're holding very, very tight on the corner. What you want to do is actually give yourself a little bit of time to react. And this applies when you're holding any angle. So for example, let's say I'm holding top mid and I want to go and I have a chamber headhunter out and I want to go for this one tap on the top mid guy. Instead of holding right against the box like this, I want to give myself a little bit of room to react to them running out. And the reason for that is just because obviously as humans, we have a delayed reaction time. Like we're not robots, so we won't be able to hit like pixel shots. And so you want to give yourself a little bit of time to react to this person running out. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to move your mouse less. And so when they walk out into my crosshair, all I really need to do is click at the appropriate time. And so one of the more important things when it comes to hitting Sheriff shots as well is your reaction time. Now, you don't necessarily have to have a fast reaction time, but you want to be able to time shots very well according to the movement of a player. And so what that means is you want to be able to see a player and know exactly when to click. And that really just comes off experience. I mean, if you really need practice, you can hop in a custom game with a friend and get him to run around this corner and kind of judge the speed based on which he's running, and then you can kind of calculate when you need to shoot based on how they're moving. But again, you don't necessarily need a super fast reaction time for this. Even if you have a slow reaction time, it's really just you can hold a little bit wider, and it's really down to timing. So timing your shot exactly when they walk into your crosshair is pretty crucial for hitting Sheriff shots. For example, I'm going to try and find a couple clips of me. This is probably one of my favorite angles to hold on Icebox, is the belt angle on pistol round when people swing into this angle. So you can see the way I'm holding it. I'm giving myself time to react by not holding the angle super tight. And I'm also aiming at head level. And basically people just walk straight into your crosshair. And so basically this is what you want, is for people to just walk into your crosshair and all you really need to do is click. And maybe do a little bit of micro adjustment, but for the most part, ideally you want people to just walk straight into your crosshair and all you need to do is click. And now let's talk about the raw aim part of using a Sheriff. So if you're not holding headshot level and you're not waiting for people to run into your crosshair, you're going to be aiming and shooting at people. And so if I'm being honest, the way to train this is basically the way you train any other gun. You're going to hop into the range and you're going to hop into deathmatch. With the deathmatch, you want to hop into the deathmatch and then use only the Sheriff in your deathmatch and practice that way. In the range, there's actually a couple pointers that I can give you here. So right now we're in the range, and basically what you want to do is just spawn in some bots. And so you want to practice flicking and shooting at the bots, except we're not going to go with the traditional like super fast flicks. So you don't want to like go super fast and flick to the bots. Basically what we want to do is we want to make sure that we aim at their head and then shoot. There's sort of a rhythm when it comes to using the Sheriff here. I'm actually just going to use the normal Sheriff, but basically you want to aim at somebody's head, and it doesn't matter if you go slow at first, because all we're wanting to do right now is get the accuracy down. So I'm going to flick slowly to each of these bots' heads, and you're going to see it's going to be pretty smooth. And my goal is to just hit every one of my shots. And so obviously you want to go at a speed that's comfortable for you, but the main goal here is we want to be hitting every one of our shots. you don't want to be pushing your speed yet. So you don't want to be going crazy, like trying to flick like this and like flicking to every target super fast. That's not what we want. Our main goal here is to be 100% accurate. So it doesn't matter how slow you are. Just again, flick to each bot's head as slow as you need to. Just make sure you hit the shot. And then as you're practicing this, you can slowly build up your speed. And I find that this is a great way to practice one-tapping with the Sheriff, rather than doing traditional like flicks around with a rifle or whatever. I think the best way to practice with the Sheriff is hop in the range, spawn in a couple bots, and then slowly, as slow as you need to, flick your crosshair to their head and make sure that you hit that 1D. And then as you practice this, slowly your speed will build up. Another thing you can use is, instead of using all these bots here, you can actually use the eliminate 100. So press F3 to open up this menu and then select eliminate 100 and then press start. And then again, the goal here is make sure you don't miss any shots. So it doesn't matter how slow you need to go, but make sure you line up that shot and make sure that it's a headshot before you continue. So you just want to go around and do this. And again, you can see I'm taking my time before I actually shoot. I'm making sure that my crosshair is on the bot's head. And then as you practice this, you can slowly ramp up your speed as you get comfortable. And so those are just some simple drills that you can do to practice aiming with your Sheriff. So that's pretty much it, guys. Those are some tips and tricks that I can give you to help you with hitting more headshots with your Sheriff. I hope this video helps you guys out, and if it did, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
You out this
One plus
One enemy remaining.
Ooh. I need my 4K.
Down One enemy remaining. Spike planted. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
143 on Jet and 101.
Spike planted.
Nice. No heal Sova. 101.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god.
Okay, they're just giving it to me.